And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pokemon Mystery Dungeons & Dragons: The Lanwell Chronicles. Last time, our heroes went through the Gale, through the Forest of Gales, where, first they got their introductions and chatted a bit with some of the guild members. They went shopping with the Kecleon, which Reniel made sure to mention that his items sucked. Isn't that right, Reniel?
Yes.
They got an introduction to the dungeon where they got to enjoy all the wind-based stuff that I did. It took them a bit to get through the first puzzle, but they did solve it in a way I didn't expect, so point for that. During the second puzzle, Reniel walked across a similar looking room to the one they previously were at and got jumped by a bunch of Skiploom as a trap. So
Barely survived.
he apparently only survived with 1 HP, so ouch. He responded by shooting tentacles out of all of his orifices.
It was under his mane.
Oh, right, under his mane.
Don't make it weirder than it has to be, man.
It's tentacles! How do you not make it weirder than it has to be?
Well, you did somehow.
Anyways, after that, they had a split path where they could immediately go up to the end of the dungeon and the boss, or go down for some extra treasure but some extra danger. And they decided to go down into the danger. Aaron almost immediately solved the windmill puzzle, allowing them to cross through. They entered a room with some pots on a shelf, and Eugene had the good idea to actually use smokescreen to keep themselves hidden, but there was a trap switch that Eugene triggered, which blew his smoke away. After getting through that, they got a quote-unquote useless baton and rested, but Eugene did not attune to that useless baton, so it remained useless. Or not Eugene, it was given to Sergei. And then they reached the boss, which seemed to be a sort of windy elemental version of an Altaria, and it kept blowing everybody back, including and especially Sergei, who had a rough time getting up to it. And after beating that boss, they reached the end of the dungeon where they got an emerald gemstone and were able to leave. But not after there was a note inside the treasure chest, and Reniel did not like that note.
They have their own society.
Apparently they have their own society. Anyways, before we begin today, as I'm sure you've noticed on the thumbnail, Paracupa has decided to leave this campaign, unfortunately, so as sad as it is to see him go, he will not be part of this any longer. So, as you are all heading through the town and going back towards, once you reach Misty Gales, in fact, Narat comes looking for you guys, mentioning that he got a nice restaurant in a different part of Caldwelch, but in order to get started his new business, he asked Aaron for some help, and Aaron decided, well, as much as he enjoys the Freelance Guild, he should, at least for as long as it takes for his father to get his feet on the ground and get firmly planted in this new place, he decided it was probably worth helping out. So you all ended up saying your goodbyes to him, and Aaron is busy helping Narat move all their things and head over to this new spot. Still, he at the very least did sort of give you guys a bit of knowledge of what to find in Misty Gales, including Eugene asked for a more practical item shop, so he directed you in that direction, and he said his goodbyes. So,
Yeah, Eugene looks a little maybe a little distraught that Aaron is leaving.
Well, Renial would, but he's Renial, so.
It is sorry to see you leave, Aaron. I was looking forward to spending much time with you.
He would totally say that.
We would have been the best friends.
At hearing that, Sergey would, of course, just shoot Reniel a whole look.
I suppose Sergey will have to be my best friend now.
Strange and not in a good way.
So after...
You-
Huh?
Go on.
Okay. So yeah, after saying your farewells, Aaron went off to the shack, and you could see that he's definitely conflicted about leaving you guys, but he does seem to feel like this is something he needs to do. And the three of you are left. So what do you want to do? Do you want to head back to the guild, or do you want to head to that practical item shop that I told you about?
Well, Eugene is going to head to that practical item shop and maybe pick up a few things to make our dungeon spelunking a little easier next time.
All right. What about the rest of you two?
Renial will follow along.
Sergey will go too.
Okay. So the three of you walk into the commercial district of this town. You pass by that Kekleon that you saw before on your way over, and you find this sort of wooden, almost shack-looking place. Though not the shack, but just it looks like a shack, and it has a sign on it that reads, "Don't you tumble or timber when on your dungeon explorations. Come into Timber's item shop in order to help keep you safe."
Eugene gives it like a once over, and I guess is there doors on it, or
Yeah,
you just walk in?
there's a small wooden door on it.
Yeah, I'll waddle up to it and just open the door.
Okay. Yeah, you open the door, and what appears to be inside is sort of almost like a hardware store sort of setup. So you see immediately that there are just a bunch of small knickknacks, tools, things like that. It seems to be well stocked with basically like there's no weapons, there's no weapons, there's no berries or anything like that, but seems to be a lot of practical items are around. And you see, as the name implied, you see a Timber standing across from you on the other side of the counter. He looks to you guys and he says, "You from the Freelance Guild?"
No, yes, we are.
First day back. We're just checking by now after our, little experience.
Yeah. I hear it occasionally. You get those people who go through the first dungeon and didn't figure to grab the right equipment needed, and they get themselves beaten. I hear it all the time.
No, we got through. It's just that we'll want to be better prepared next time, of course.
Well, fair enough. Well, luckily for you, we got what you need. We got bombs, oil, rope. They're yours, my friend, so long as you have enough rubies.
Ruby. Wait, what's the currency you use here?
Oh, it's coins. Don't worry about that. I just like to call them rubies.
Oh, okay. I was worried for a second there. Anyway, Eugene pulls out this piece of paper. It says, "Well, we need 50 pieces of chalk, a grappling hook, hammer, 10 oil flasks, 10 pitons, 10-foot pole, sack of flour, and 3 torches."
Sergey starts reading up, or excuse me, as Eugene starts reading up this list, Sergey just kind of looks over his shoulder. You've got the Christmas list there.
They're the essentials. Never know when you'll need a 10-foot pole.
10-foot pole.
Yeah, 10-foot pole.
Oddly specific.
Do you have those items, sir?
Yep, we sure do. And he puts all those items for you on the counter. And he goes, alright, that'll be 6 gold in total.
6 gold. Oh, wow. So I go down to 37. All right. I pay him.
Okay. Is there anything else any of you want?
Honestly, I'll admit I followed long just to make sure our group didn't get separated. Gotta make sure everyone's there when we turn things in.
Of course, understandable.
Do you have any citrus berries?
It's not that kind of shop, Rennial. Well, I don't know if I could hear Rennial.
He's using minor illusion so everyone can hear him.
Okay. Sorry, we don't really sell food here. You can't really get a lot of good food over here in Calwulch anyways.
Fair enough.
Alright, if that's it for you, then you may feel free to come again if you need anything else.
Oh, yeah, I will. Not just for dungeoneering, but other things, I think.
He nods and he seems fairly happy at the prospect of getting a new customer.
All right. Next stop I want to go by is I want to go back to that Kecleon shop and get that ranged weapon.
Okay. So,
All right.
you walk over to the Kecleon shop and he says, "Oh, hello!" And I'm probably using a different voice for him this time, but oh well.
Sounds about the same.
It's a Kecleon.
Yeah. Oh, hello. Back again, I see.
Yeah, I actually wanted to pick up that weapon you had last time. That Decidueye weapon.
Sorry, that one's a little gone, but I've got something that's just about as good.
Oh, I guess I should have bought it earlier. I thought it'd been pretty cool because the Decidueye archers in War Kingdoms actually use that. They're really good at ambushing, and they get a +10 if they're in a tree.
He's just like, he's just kind of looking at you like, okay.
I mean, I'll take the other one.
Okay. So he puts down a slingshot in front of you and says, "Alright, this is basically, it's close enough, only instead of arrows, you want to use specific stones for this. And we've got about 10 of them here for you to start with if you want."
I look at this thing and probably think it's probably a lot cumbersome and awkward to use than a bow made for like a Decidueye. Okay, how much is it?
That'll be 25 gold, and I'll include the ammunition as a sort of starter pack, we'll say.
I don't want to risk trying to negotiate with my horrible charisma. So, I'll
25 gold seems rather steep. We were in another store and got a large quantity of items for only 6 gold.
Well,
It's okay.
If you say so.
All right. Yeah, I'll trade over the 25 for it.
Alright. So, yeah, you've got a slingshot. Its range is... Basically, its range is going to be the same as the short bow from normal D&D. So it's got a minimum range of 80 feet, maximum range of 320. And the stones will do 1d6 bludgeoning, not piercing, because I don't know how you make a stone do bludgeoning damage.
Yeah. Well, piercing you.
Yeah, I suppose if you shape them
Pull
right.
it really hard.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll do 1d6 bludgeoning damage and use your dexterity for that.
Yeah. Awesome. And I have 20 shots for the ammunition right now.
220. Oh, wait.
He said 10. He said 10 ammunition.
Okay, maybe I'll buy I guess like the quiver in if he has that, which is like has
Stone
20 in
pouch.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have 30 in all then?
Yeah, that would be 30 and all then.
All right, I'll give him one more gold and then I don't know where I'm going to list this. Maybe just in the third attack slot that I have 30 shots.
Yeah,
All
list it wherever you can find a good spot for it.
All right, I say thank you and kind of like pull it, making sure the strap maybe doesn't break when I pull it, and
Yeah,
looking at the
it feels fairly sturdy. Like, you've probably heard that Caldwell makes their weapons very well, and you could tell that despite it not being as sort of as amazing as a bow, you might think, it certainly does feel sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break or not work at all. It's definitely well made.
All right, I guess we'll go back to the guild with this emerald we got in tow.
Okay. So, you hear the Kecleon go, "Come again!" And give me a perception check for flavor.
Okay.
Anyone who
Or
wants to
everyone.
roll.
Okay.
Alright. Prepared for more awful rolls.
Yeah.
Boring.
Oh wow, Dice Parser is vindictive today.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Okay. Well, luckily this was for flavor. Eugene, you hear that the Kecleon mumbled something as you guys were leaving, but you couldn't quite make out what he said.
Excuse me?
Nothing.
Okay, I thought I heard you mumbling something.
No, I was just thinking.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
I guess I kind of look over my shoulder a couple of times as I'm like going.
He definitely doesn't seem to be, he seems to be keeping a smile on and letting you guys go while you're within sight of him.
I do not think he likes me.
Well, let's see. You insulted his shop and suggested he was overcharging.
Is he not?
Admittedly, a little bit.
I rest my case.
They gave me a pretty good oh, that wasn't him. That was the other guy. Yep, back to the Freelance Guild, I guess we
I'm
go.
actually curious.
Huh? What'd you say, Ice?
Given Sergei's background, do you think he would be able to fairly judge the price of that slingshot?
Give me... Probably, yeah. Give me a straight-up intelligence roll.
Okay. Flat D20. Come on!
Wow. Oh, my Purser's out for
Purser's-
blood today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a no.
At least these aren't attack rolls.
I suppose, yeah.
Or important roles.
Yeah, these are mostly for flavor, but dang.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't really you don't really think you've got a full grasp of how much it would cost now. You think it might be around that area, might be higher, might be lower. You're not entirely certain. I suppose
Right.
with your eye situation, you're probably not too big of a fan of ranged weapons in general anyway, so it wasn't
No.
something you paid attention to.
Depth perception.
Yep. Okay, so eventually. Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say, yeah. Never ask Suri to try to tell you the depth of anything.
Yeah.
It will not go well.
Okay. So, anyways, after buying your things, you all soon return to the Freelance Guild. And you see Rian, who notices you all as you walk in, and she gives you a nice smile and says, "Oh, you're back." She looks over and she notices that Aaron is gone, and she says, "Oh, where's Aaron?"
His father got a new location for his restaurant and needed help moving.
Pretty much just boils down to that. It sounded like one of those situations where family was more important.
I see. That's too bad. You definitely brought some energy around here, but I suppose it is what it is. Maybe I'll join again sometime soon. Anyways, did you guys manage to succeed in your mission?
I'll nod and I'll pull out. We found this, and I'll nod over to Sergey to maybe present the baton.
Yeah, he shows off the baton as well. We found two things actually.
Interesting. I was not actually expecting you to find a baton there. The gemstone, yeah, that was the item you were supposed to get, though.
So does that mean that I get to keep this?
Oh, sure, yeah. Any items you find in Mr. Dungeon that aren't related to that weren't related to what we wanted you to get, yeah, they're yours to keep.
Good deal.
And so I assume we're not allowed to keep this, pointing at the emerald.
Sorry, no. After all, if you keep it, we'd have to find an entirely new emerald in order to redo the challenge for anyone new who comes in.
Okay. So who do I give this to?
Head up to the third floor office and give it to either Raven or Thornton.
All right. I begin making my way there.
Okay. Is everyone else going along with?
Yep.
Daniel's going to stop next to Rihan and he's going to say,
Do you find notes in the chest every time you go to put the emerald back?
Notes in the chest?
Yes, we found a note in the chest this time.
I don't remember hearing anything about that. And she seems almost bewildered.
Doesn't even explain any more than that. Just that there's a note in the chest.
and then he proceeds to follow the other three.
Okay. Alright. So after that, as you enter into the main room, you see that Finlay and Kaylin seem to be having a chess match against each other on the table in the meeting room. Kaylin seems to be easily beating Finlay while also reading a book at the same time.
Eugene begins to look like visibly like, I don't know how to describe it, maybe like sort of like vindictive or wants to say something, but he isn't.
Oh.
Okay.
But he turns his attention to the stairs and continues ascending them.
Okay. So you climb up. You don't see anybody on the second floor, at least anybody in the main hallway. You don't know if there's anybody in the library or anything like that. And you climb up to the third floor. All the room doors are closed, but you were told that the main office is in the north side, and the 2 rooms are on the sides. So, which door do you want to knock on, or are you just going to burst into the room?
I guess we're more familiar with Raven, so I'm going towards the south side, I believe.
It's the west.
Oh yeah, the west. Okay. Yeah. And so I'll just knock on his door.
Okay. You knock, knock, knock. It's silent for a few seconds, but then you hear, "Oh, coming."
I open the door.
Okay. You open it up, and you see Raven. Since this is, I believe, the first time you've seen Raven's room, it's fairly cluttered. Raven doesn't seem like he's the best at cleaning up. He's got like tons of random notes strewn around the room. His desk is an absolute mess. He does have a number of charts and maps in his room as well, and he even has inside his room. You even notice that there's this nice looking weapon, sort of a double-bladed weapon. I can't remember the name right now. Give me a second.
I know what you're talking about. I just don't know what it's called either.
Oh my gosh. Glaive, that's it.
Glaive, yeah.
Yeah, you see that he's got his double-bladed glaive. The blades themselves seem to be made of the same sort of shellish material that Oshawatts and Duats typically, and even Samurats typically use for their Aqua Blade technique, and they sometimes use them as weapons as well. So he seems to have a saber with a stick between 2 of those sort of blades near.
It's like shells
Yeah.
as the blades, yeah.
Shells as the blades. As for Raven, he's sitting next to his desk, and he placed a book down. He placed a book face down right next to him, so he was probably reading.
All right. So I'm gonna walk up to him, but at the same time, I'm gonna maybe look around the room and see if anything catches my eye, like a secret door or just some miscellaneous something that seems out of place. Am I allowed to do that?
Sure. Give me a perception check.
All right.
And pray Purser is feeling nicer now.
Oh,
nice. Okay, you don't really notice, there's no secret doors or anything, and from what you can gather, most of the notes seem to be, they might be a little more pry than you like, some of the notes seem to be about various major figures around Lanwell, and it seems to be some of them are, information that the Freelance Guild has gotten. Others seems to be official documents that he's had to sign and just either accidentally or maybe forgot about it and left it in his room. His book seems to be fairly nice looking, though. Has a blue back, and he's using a gold colored bookmark for it.
Alright.
But yeah, there's nothing in his room that appears to be sus.
Alright, nothing out of the ordinary. I'll then approach him and said, we went through the dungeon, we found this, we were told to deliver to you. I maybe place the emerald on his desk or
Oh, nice.
hold it up.
Congratulations. Raven takes the gemstone and he gives it a once-over first. Maybe he's, like, checking just to make sure he didn't, like, find some random emerald to pretend it's the one or anything like that. But after giving it a once-over, he nods and he says, "Alright, that's it. Mission successful, you guys."
We also apparently found something that was not expected.
Oh, really? What'd you find?
Siri pulls out the baton.
Huh. Interesting. Where'd you find it, out of curiosity?
Oh, there was a split path in the dungeon.
A split path? You see Raven standing there contemplatively for a few seconds. Wow, that word's hard. And he sort of says, that's the first time one of our people we send there have mentioned a split path. Seems the dungeon is shifting.
Should we assume that's not a good thing?
It's not necessarily a bad thing. Dungeons, like, the layout of dungeons do change from time to time, but they don't often change as drastically as getting new pathways. Like, typically it'll be like they might have a different set of puzzles in it, or some of the dungeon Pokemon that appear might be different than what they typically have. So, but it's not unexpected for them to suddenly have different pathways either. It's just a lot rarer than usual. We may have to keep an eye on that dungeon just to make sure the dungeon Pokemon don't get too strong for our trainees to be able to handle.
It was wind themed, correct?
Yep, it was wind themed when everyone else went through it as well.
Okay, at least that's good.
And the sort of final thing in the dungeon was a wind elemented Altaria, right?
Right.
Yes, Sergey certainly remembers.
Yeah, Sergey definitely remembers.
His face sours.
Having those, like, like Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah, so at this confirmation, Raven nods and says, "Alright, that's comforting at least. Hopefully the dungeon doesn't shift too much. It's nice and convenient for trainees like you to sort of get the ropes and figure out how dungeons work, or at least it has been so far."
Convenient location as well.
Yeah, there's a reason why we like to use it.
Yeah, but in the first obstacle, I noticed there were a bunch of bones in them. What's the success fail rate of this initiating dungeon?
We've had to occasionally drag people out, but bones, I wonder if we haven't been keeping an eye on the dungeons while I nothing some random Pokemon I've walked through. Oh boy, thanks for telling me. We might need to keep a couple people on, like, guard duty in front of the dungeons for a day just to keep Pokemon from walking in who aren't prepared.
Yeah, that might be wise.
Yeah, he has this grim look on his face, and you could sort of tell he's hoping that they aren't missing, like, a bunch of townspeople or something like that.
Oh dear.
As for guild members, like, we've had, like, only 2 or 3 failures, and none of them have died, thankfully. We have a policy where if they take too long, we rush in, and we haven't met anybody that's been too badly hurt by the dungeon that we weren't able to resuscitate them.
Reniel kind of coughs a bit.
So where do we go from here?
Well, since you successfully made it through your first mission, we have one more mission for you that you'll get basically a choice of what you want to do. And he looks through his room, and then he sort of pulls out a map of the continent. And he says, "Alright, so for your next mission, I suppose we can sort of have you guys decide what you want to do now while you're here." And as I said before, he opens the map and he says, "So we've got two things we want you guys, or one thing, sorry, we've got two things that you can do, and we want you guys to choose one of them. See, the choice is either a mission to investigate strange happenings or a mission to rout a group of bandits who have taken up residence near a town."
Both seem equally important.
Yeah.
I assume there'll be another team for whichever we don't choose.
Yeah. We'll likely send another team out for whichever one wasn't chosen, correct? The bandits themselves aren't terribly strong, and so far their crimes have been petty theft and vandalism, so you guys shouldn't struggle too much with them, though you definitely want to be prepared. As for the investigation, a town in Ledrith near one of the rivers, and he shows you an X on the southern river going out of one of the forests. In fact, I can show you on the map right now the two areas he's pointing to. So let me pull that up for you. Probably put in the roles chat so that maybe the chat can see it, though it might be
Kind of
They
small.
won't.
yeah.
They won't see it because it works differently. I've
Ah.
learned that.
Okay. Anyway, so
But
yeah.
what you can do is you can upload it. You could put it on OBS for a second and then take it off. You can do that. That's
Oh.
what I was doing.
Right.
Just put it in front of everything, and then that's what it looks like, audience, and then just kind of get rid of it afterwards.
Okay. Give me a second. Audience.
Let me zoom in.
Whoops.
So it's that X you put on the map next to the plus?
Yeah, so there are two X's on the map. There is a X next to a plus, and there's another X on sort of the southern river near the Great Lanwell Forest. If you go southwest from Misty Gales, you could sort of see it there. Well, I'm trying to get the
Oh, there it
image
is.
up. Yeah. And
I'll say it.
he says, yeah, so down there in Ledrith, there is a sudden bout of what appears to be narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy.
And this is what the map looks like for you guys. There's two X's and pluses there. Okay. I should probably have that planned next time. Okay. So yeah, he says, yeah, Pokemon have been just... It's one of the odd small settlements that you have in Lanwell, since they don't really have too many large cities outside of the big one. And Pokemon there have been suddenly just falling asleep at random. It doesn't seem to be a case of tiredness, or at least as far as we've seen. So we think it's probably someone in Lanwell doing an unsolicited experiment or something like that. We doubt it's anybody too large time, so that's why we want to have you investigate down there.
You said Lanwell. It's Ledrith, by the way.
Oh, sorry, Ledrith. Too many L's.
Have the victims of this been examined in any way?
They have to the best of our ability, yes, but none of them have remained asleep for longer than 3 or 4 hours, thankfully. And none of them seem to be, none of them seem to have anything about them that appear to be strange, but we're not entirely certain what might have happened.
No, like other side effects other than spontaneously falling asleep?
So far, no, but that might be something for you to ask if you guys decide to go down there. We only had one agent there, and they were only temporarily there as they were moving on to something else, so we don't have a full understanding of the situation yet.
Okay, well, when do we decide on which one we're going to do?
I'd like for you guys to have come to a decision by tomorrow morning so we can send you out immediately and get the other team ready to head out afterwards. So you can take some time, but I would like to hear your answer by the meeting tomorrow.
All right. I think we probably need maybe a good night's sleep after doing that dungeon.
Oh, definitely. We're not expecting you guys to immediately rush out there. Dungeon exploring could be a little exhausting, so we definitely wouldn't have you guys immediately go out there. Do you have any questions you want to ask me for now?
Explains most of it. I don't know if I might caught that.
Huh?
Oh,
yeah, it must not have. Okay. I think we have most of this explained then. It's really just making a decision.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, if you do come up with any questions, my door is always open.
well, I do have one other question. Do we get any reward for getting through that dungeon?
Oh, right. Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot. He goes into his desk, goes through what you imagine to be more cluttered messes, and he pulls out a bag, and he says, all right, well, okay, so, and he hands you all 25 gold.
Oh, perfect. I actually probably needed this.
As a group or each?
Each of you gets 25 gold.
All right.
This will help compensate for the Kecleon shop's exorbitant prices.
Yes, the Kekleon shop. I've made a wonderful new friend here.
Exorbitant prices.
Yes, he charged 25 coins for a slingshot.
It was a slingshot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a slingshot?
No, we got some rocks as well.
Those rocks are probably specially made for the slingshot, so 25 gold isn't honestly that bad of a deal for it.
We paid 6 gold for a slew of other items at another store.
Yeah, welcome to the economy.
I never understood economy very well.
Yeah, you and me both. Like, if you want to hear something really funny, do you know how much, like, the best vest you can buy in the world is?
How much?
1,500 gold, apparently.
Well, that's
You're
certainly out of my ballpark.
No, apparently they sell the best vest in the world for 1,500 gold. Like,
That is ridiculous.
it's supposed to really help your defense, but I don't know. If you ask me, 1,500 gold is a bit ridiculous for what is essentially just a decently good vest.
Well, it's that way with scarves too.
I
Scarves.
guess it is.
Scarves aren't as bad. I mean, your scarf. He looks at you. Your scarf probably only costs like 10 gold.
But then again, it's just a piece of cloth.
I mean, it's a defense scarf, so it's a bit more than a piece of cloth. But I suppose you're right. The economy here is really weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you want to try and strike against the Kecleon market and make your own prices, feel free. Don't know if they'd appreciate that much, and definitely don't try that with any of those dungeon Kecleon.
Oh, I think we know better.
Even I know better than that.
What are you gonna say, Sergey?
I'm wondering if Sergey would know or not.
Do you want to make another intelligence roll?
Sure.
I mean, somebody's... Well, okay, technically Eugene did.
Oh, it's just flat intelligence, so...
Oh
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy, I think you're getting Kiona's luck.
Please, no.
So
This is
yeah,
where you say this is where you say like the first stupid thing you're thinking and then instantly regret it. Like, oh wait, I said that out loud.
Because when I think, I start overthinking, so...
yeah, Sergey's just... His mind is whirring as he tries to wrap around the concept of Dungeon Kecleon and why they would be dangerous. Apparently he's used to the main series reputation of Kecleon and isn't used to the PMD reputation of Kecleon.
Please, they're just shelf keeps.
If you think I am scary, you will be surprised how scary they can be.
Kecleon. I mean, sure, some of them get a little uppity about, like, their pricing, but none of them are that bad.
They will literally tear you in half.
And he means they by plural.
What?
Never mind.
Yeah, just, it's better off that you don't know. Just don't ever try and cheat or steal from a dungeon Kecleon. You'll live to regret it. Or, well, I say you'll live to regret it, but...
More likely you will not.
Ah.
I'm just imagining Sergey with this dumbfounded face as all these guys are afraid of Kecleon.
He doesn't know.
Oh, he doesn't know. Poor fool.
But we should come with a decision tomorrow.
Yep. But before you go, though, I have one more thing to give you all. Let's see. Aaron isn't here. I already heard from the grapevine, we'll say, what happened to him. So I guess I'll keep his badge for now. Maybe he'll come back later. But as for the rest of you... And he puts down 3 badges in front of you. These badges, I don't have any drawings on them, unfortunately, so theater of mind.
Mm-hmm.
These badges look like an Aegis/sword, only instead of being like straight down, it's sort of to the side, sort of like if you see the Ocarina of Time sort of Master Sword, Hylian Shield.
Right.
Yeah.
Logo. Yeah.
Yeah, the sword is sort of on that. And you see an Aegis/his shield, but instead of the eyes, in the center of the shield, you see each of your paw prints on it.
Oh, neat.
Yep. These badges will be your official identification, and if you need to ever present proof that you're from the Freelance Guild, just present those badges, and you should be good.
Are there tiers to them, or like Like, is this like the bronze rank and then it gets
Uh,
upgraded?
are you asking that in character?
Yeah, I'm asking that in character.
Okay. He says, well, yes and no. There's no straight up tiers. Well, there is a tier, but it's not as exuberant. I've heard that across the sea, their tiers are a lot larger and a lot more varied than ours is. But not right now. What you have is a sort of whitish, which signifies you as beginners, starting trainees, sort of getting the hang of things. Once you guys graduate from being beginners, you'll get a more silverish one, which will denote you as just regular Freelance Guild members. And after getting that and getting basically exemplary service, you'll get something that looks, well, closer to mine. And he places down his Freelance Guild badge, which is basically the same thing, only it's solid gold and red, sort of Aegislash's shiny color, basically. And you see it has his paw print on it as well. And he says, this is the senior members badge. Not senior as in seniority, just senior as in higher up. And this is the highest rank. Once you're a senior member, you get the ability to become leaders of guild buildings. You have very high authority when it comes to diplomatic and investigative situations, and, well, you're also the talk of the town as well.
Is there any way to keep that last part out?
Managing to secretly graduate?
I'll look into that then.
Is the paw print on Raven's badge an Oshawott paw print or a Doo-Wop paw print?
A Doo-Wop paw print. I should have
Okay.
actually had you roll a nature check for that. Oh well.
Oh well.
I already said
Right.
it, so no takes backs.
Upon evolution, are new badges issued?
Yep. If you evolve, we get your new paw print and we issue you new badges. Until the new badge comes, you're technically allowed to use your old badge, but it does become pretty much null and void for your identification the moment that you get your new badge. And I'd recommend either keeping them handy somewhere and stored safely, or disposing of them in some place no other Pokemon can get, since we have heard of occasions where a bandit or thief might pretend to be a Freelance Guild member by having a out-of-date badge.
We destroy them?
Yeah, you can destroy them. They're a little sturdy. I mean, they're meant to go with you through dungeons and stuff, so they're not easy to destroy, but you can destroy them, yeah.
Imagine some of us might like to keep some of them just for the sake of seeing our journey.
Yeah, a lot of Pokemon do that. In fact, I have my old badges shuffled away.
Was he looking to present it, but then just like looks at the mess?
Yeah, you could see maybe digging around to show you, but then he looks and he's like, maybe later.
Yeah, Reniel thought about actually saying you likely would not be able to find them in this mess. Actually, he's gonna say that.
You likely would not be able to find them in this mess.
I'm sure I could after a bit of searching. It'd take me a few seconds, I think.
Might be good to put them on display instead of in all of this.
I'll have to keep that in mind. Anyways, you're free to go off on your own if you want. I do have one more thing I'd like to say, though. You're free to spend the rest of the day however you please, but I'd like for you guys to all be around the guild, because after the first day, Thornton and we like to speak to you all individually. Sort of just have a bit of a chat with you, see how you're doing, see how you're fitting in, stuff like that. So we'd like you all to be available for that when we decide to do that.
Okay, well, I'll probably either be at the shop or in my room.
Okay. You're free to go
And
now.
I'll leave.
And he sort of waves you off, letting you head out. So anyways, as I said before, you're free to go. You're free to go about the guild as you please. You can make a quick trip into town if you want to buy something, but otherwise, you're free to RP with if you want to like have a chat with any of the trainees that are in the guild. You can. So far, you've only seen Finlay and Kaelin, but there are probably others still about. Not all of them, but there are probably others still about. But otherwise, I'll have one of you. Obviously have your little meeting with Thornton and Raven as well.
Should I correctly assume that shop item rotation hasn't occurred yet until the next day, since it's daily?
Yeah, the shop hasn't really changed much, aside from the fact that they got a slingshot instead of a bow.
Right.
So what you saw last time, aside from anything that may have been sold out, is still what's available.
Alright, in that case, not gonna bother.
I'm gonna go to that I don't know, gear store, and I want to pick up a small file, a mirror on a small stick, some small scissors, lock picks, and pliers, aka thieves' tools.
Okay, so Eugene, you head out pretty quick, and you apparently not interested in being in the guild for much longer. So yeah, you head out and you grab all that stuff in the shop. It says, interesting items you have. You sure you're able to use them effectively?
Oh yeah. I need them for my miniatures.
You use those for miniatures?
Oh yeah, the pliers so you can get them onto the base, and the scissors so I can cut them out of the plastic. Sure, the lockpicks, I guess if I'm gonna go into dungeons, and treasure chests might be locked or doors might be locked, and I'm pretty good at catching tumblers. I don't do it, but I've read about it, and it doesn't seem too hard, and I have a pretty steady hand.
If you say so. Yeah, you're definitely gonna experience a couple of those. Usually they'll have keys and stuff like that, but why bother with keys if you could just open them all up automatically?
Yeah, exactly. I not spend too long in dungeons.
Very good of you. Yep. Alright, that'll all come down to 25 gold then.
Oof. Okay.
How perfect that you just got 25.
Okay. I have deducted it.
Alright. There you are.
Thank you. I look at this. I don't know how it's packed up. Maybe it's in like a little case where you could like take them out of little recesses and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll say it's sort of like that. It's in this small.
Right.
It's in this container. You can just sort of pick and choose, sort of like a Swiss Army knife sort of container thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Toolbox, maybe.
All right. Well, come again.
I definitely will. Then I'll head back to the guild.
Okay. All right. So, Is there anybody in particular any of you want to do with, or do you want to get your scenes with Raven and Thornton out of the way already, or how do you guys want to handle this? If you want to,
Well,
sorry, continue.
I'm probably going to be in my room. I'm not gonna make it a secret, but maybe just like look over my new equipment, like pack it all good and well.
Okay. All right.
I think Reniel would want to discuss with the others what their course of action is going to be, which location they're going to go to.
All right.
You agree with this, Eugene?
Yeah, I guess he could
sorry.
just come.
I actually meant Sergey, because I was gonna stuff him in Eugene's room.
Yeah.
Right.
So you wanna join? You wanna
Sure.
join in that description? Okay. So after Reniel is done getting his stuff, I don't know what you two are doing. Or sorry, not Reniel. I'm getting your names all mixed up.
Oh no.
That's bad. Okay, so after Eugene comes back from the store and he heads into, you see him heading into your room. Are you gonna follow him in?
Yeah.
Well, Reniel's not going to just barge in. He's going to knock on the door.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm. Wow, I'm out of it.
I apparently am too. We can all be out of it together.
Yeah. Does he knock or does he go knock, knock, knock?
He actually knocks.
Oh, I wanted him to go knock, knock, knock.
Oh, Okay, I'll meet you halfway. He'll use minor illusion to create a knocking sound.
There you go. Well, about to like look. I'm probably like on my sleeping quarters, like organizing all this stuff, and then I go and open it.
Okay, and then there's the creepy Eevee standing there, and he says,
Hello, Eugene. I thought it would be good for us to discuss where we were going to go.
Oh, right, that. Yeah, I guess you can come in.
Thank you.
Reniel walks in, and does Eugene have all of his little figures lined up in his room yet, or?
Oh yeah, he's probably done that so far. Like they're probably all aligned on the floor, and they're all like in like faction order, and like the infantry in the front. Like...
Reniel is inspecting them with a significant amount of intrigue, actually. I mean, his face is still blank as ever, but he's paying more attention to them than he'd pay attention to other things.
Yeah. But aside from that, I got all the boring equipment, like grappling hooks and.
Are these yours?
Oh yeah, don't touch them.
I will not.
Yes.
They are very interesting action figures.
No, they're miniatures, not action figures.
I apologize. I do not often play with these, but I have always thought they were interesting.
Oh yeah. It's a really fun game. It's just really niche. Not a lot of other Pokemon play it.
I have never had other Pokemon to really play such things with. I would have liked to, but I never got the chance.
Oh well, I could. Well, I guess we can't do it now because we have to go somewhere and
Of
fight
course.
bandits or fall asleep.
Perhaps when we have some free time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have 2 locations, one in Ledrith and one in Arian. What are your thoughts on where we should go?
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're in the room as well, Sergey.
Yeah, I assumed.
Yeah. Eugene is going to say, well, I think the bandits would be easier, but I really don't want to get in any skirmish with other Pokemon. If we just have to investigate something, I find that a little easier, but I am... Well, either way, I don't want to really do either, but what do you guys feel more comfortable with?
Well, I personally enjoy skirmishes.
Did that last one work out for you?
It was rather thrilling.
Oh my god.
He just chuckles.
By the way, what was with the and he makes like a wavy arm gesture.
Ugh.
Are you not also able to spontaneously manifest extra appendages from a non-Euclidean space hidden in your fur?
What? No.
No.
I see. Well, it is just something I am able to do. I do not anticipate you will see it often, as I am not often in close quarters with others. I will be honest, I did not think I would need to use such manifestations of my abilities so early on in my career.
Is there anything else creepy you can do that you should maybe give us a heads up about before we see it?
Are you sure you would like to know?
Well, we're gonna see it eventually, right? So maybe we should get it over with in a more comfortable atmosphere.
Truthfully, not really, but I don't think we have a choice.
Fair enough. To be honest, I am not entirely sure of the full extent of my abilities. Currently, what you saw is the most unusual of them.
Okay, well, that gets that out of the way then, if it's all kind of downhill in terms of creepiness from there.
Reynold just kind of nods.
He reminds me of old seafaring tales.
How
That-
so?
Certain squid Pokemon that have taken entire ships down in the blink of an eye. Entire crews just pulled. Like those things.
I would aspire for such abilities, but as you know, I am not very keen on goals.
Oh, does it look like this? And he pulls out like this tentacruel miniature that's like like wrapped around a ship, pulling it down.
Ah, so they've decided to make an artistic view of it.
Yeah, yeah. This takes the seafaring faction down really good. It grapples with their ships and drags it down to the briny depths. There's not a good save for it though.
So
So
just
it's-
doesn't have it. Is a little off.
So they've actually banned this one from the So I'm not actually allowed to use it.
Yeah, Sergey just looks off put by the thing.
But anyway, what do you suggest, Sergey?
I think either one is good. Question is whichever you prefer. I personally wouldn't mind going after a few bandits.
Well, I guess I'm outnumbered there, so I guess the bandits it is.
Very well. That was a rather easy decision to come to.
Then it's settled. I'll let everyone know, and I guess we'll head out that direction tomorrow.
Maybe we should learn a bit about the geography there, or where exactly they are, so we can maybe surprise them.
Reynold thinks about this for a minute.
How do you propose we do that?
Well, if we know where their hideout is, we could take another route there instead of just walking up to their front door and fighting them.
Do you propose asking the locals?
Well, yes, I guess we could do that. Town nearby.
Or perhaps the guild has more information.
Yeah, exactly.
Raniel nods in agreement.
Maybe we could set up a trap or two. They're not expecting us. We should definitely use that to our advantage.
At least you're not asking me to do it. Not good at being quiet.
Well, that's what you could just stay behind, and then when we don't need to be quiet, then that's when you would come in.
Good plan then.
All right. Do you guys want to inform them, or should I?
We can do so when the first of us goes in to have our little interview, was it that they called it?
Or do
Right,
we not know about that yet?
I mean,
You were told that they're going to bring you in just for a bit of a chat. It wasn't supposed to be
Okay.
like an interview, just a chat.
right.
Yeah.
Each of us getting a chat, so
Yeah. So yeah, then I could just continue, like maybe like crushing up like a piece of chalk or two and putting it in like a little sack compartment.
What are you doing?
Oh, this so if we have to climb again, our grips maybe could be a little better.
I see. I would like to avoid climbing if at all possible.
Well, I mean, I would too, but if we have to, you can just chalk up your paws and maybe not fall.
really that helps with your grip.
Yeah, it makes it so they're not all sweaty and you can climb better. It's not foolproof. You could still fall, but it should make it a little bit easier. A lot of these items I got are for stuff like that.
Interesting.
You seem to have a lot of experience with mystery dungeons.
Well, I've only been one near my town, and I'm competent. I know you have to fight in there, and it's just I don't like them.
I can understand why.
Yeah, let's say that.
I was mostly not a fan of that Altaria.
You seem to have a hard time getting to it.
Don't remind me.
Very well, I will not.
3 seconds later, hey, Sergey, do you remember that Altaria?
The flashbacks start.
Is there anything else we need to discuss?
Well, no. So, find out about where we're going if you can. There's that library. So maybe we can find out something about the geography, and or maybe he'll tell us where they are exactly hid out.
Or at least the most likely places.
Yes, and maybe we'll prepare some sort of simple trap, and when we get there, we can see the sort of the layout and plan accordingly.
Raniel nods in agreement.
As a Sergey.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just wait for him to approach one of us, and we'll tell him our decision.
That sounds
Right.
like a plan. I will see you both later.
Okay.
Right.
And Raniel walks over to the door and just opens it with mage hand and shuts it behind him with it.
Do you know how he's doing that?
I'm not sure I want to know.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
As I said before, he's strange and not in a good way.
Well, yeah. Besides the creepiness, he seems like a fine individual. Maybe a little blunt sometimes, but doesn't seem malicious. Well, to acquaintances.
I'm just laughing.
By the way, what kind of equipment do you have? Like, line with this stuff I have. Do you have anything that practical equipment, I guess?
Well, let me see here. He looks at his pack. A lot of it's just what he's already had on him, so he pulls out the compass. This is really just from earlier days before I came this way. It's always good to know which way you're going.
Is it just like a normal compass, or is it like
It's bronze.
Oh. Oh wow,
Yeah.
That looks pretty well, pretty.
It gets the job done. Perhaps a little ornate, but it served me well.
Okay, I'll keep note of that. Just that you have something like that. It works, right?
Of course. He opens up the compass to show it off.
Yep, you see the compass is pointing north. And yeah, it seems to be fairly sturdy, maybe a bit water swept, but functional, sturdy.
Okay. I saw. I think some of you had rope too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's just good to know what you guys have too.
And our own skills to help.
Have you ever routed bandits back in the day, or?
No, never. No.
Well, you won that fighting tournament, so I guess it shouldn't be too hard.
It shouldn't. Like I've said, I've had a bit of experience in my belt from days prior, but I mean, it's never really bringing people in. It's just surviving at sea. It's not always safe.
Do you have any friends while out there?
I don't know anymore. I wouldn't say that crew left on the best of terms.
Oh. I just mean, well, you seem like seem like you're good at seafaring, but usually have a crew for that.
We went our separate ways. Some people happier than others.
Well, I guess I hope you meet some more friends here, I guess.
There have been some interesting faces about. I'm going to have to meet them at some point when we're not so busy.
Yeah. I guess if I'll nod at him and just maybe continue like organizing my new equipment, making it like, easily accessible.
All right. Well, I suppose since you two had that nice little conversation, I guess we'll have Reniel be the first for the interview then. The quote-unquote interview. Okay, so Reniel, as you're walking around the guild, maybe you've mentioned searching for a certain glaceon that...
Uh-oh.
But anyways, while you were walking around the guild, you see Raven walking down, and he locks eyes with you, and he says, "Oh, hey, Reniel, good to see you. We decided you'll be first up, so come along with me."
Very well.
Okay. So yeah, assuming you're following along, Raven takes you up and he brings you to the main office where you see both himself and Thornton.
Okay. He just kind of sits down in front of the desk and waits to be spoken to.
Okay. All right. So, Thornton says, "All right, Reniel. First off, I suppose we may as well get this out of the way first. We are aware, thanks to Shad, of your situation, we'll say.
He has explained what happened to you then?
Yes, he has.
I see. Well, that saves a lot of explaining on my part.
There isn't much we can do to help you, but at the very least, we're aware, and if there's anything you need medically, feel free to ask. We're willing to accommodate as best as we can help it in any case."
I will keep that in mind. But in the past,
Just a second. Reniel's better at math than I am. Give me just a second.
in the past 8 years, I have just come to live with my condition as it is. I do not think you will need to worry too much about accommodating me. Perhaps if other members of the guild come to you expressing concern, let them know that I am not hostile toward them.
Very well. We shall do so. And, sorry about that. And Raven looks to you and says, "How does... Nah, I probably shouldn't ask you how that felt. Probably don't want to talk about it."
Reniel kind of tilts his head a little bit as though he's thinking.
I do not remember the incident very well, but I do imagine it was quite unpleasant. I do remember... I would rather not talk about it.
Yeah, figure. I suppose I can't exactly blame you. Well, it is what it is, and, you know, maybe whatever lasting scars, we'll say, came from that, maybe they'll eventually get healed while you're out here in the Freelance Guild.
I have my doubts of that. After all, you are seeing the scars, or rather, hearing them.
You're talking
But-
about the minor illusion, right?
Yeah, the minor illusion, being able to hear things in their head, him speaking in their heads, that sort of thing.
That is rather strange. I mean, it's not uncommon for, say, Espeon, if you were to evolve, but as just an Eevee, it's definitely strange.
He kind of lowers his head a little bit.
I do not see myself becoming an Espeon as much as I would like that.
Espeon are, I believe they evolved through a strong bout of friendship or acceptance in the daytime. Isn't that correct?
It is. Let's just say such conditions would be rather difficult for me given my condition.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's impossible. After all, you do have allies as of right now, and it's common even in the most unique of circumstances and personalities. It is common after spending time going through dungeons, going around the world and just traveling for you to get some sort of camaraderie with them. It's not too unheard of for groups who we bring here and just pair together because they're convenient to stick together as a team once they're no longer needed to be together.
Raniel nods in agreement.
I wouldn't necessarily give up hope in that in any case.
I'm trying to think of what Raniel would say. He wants to say something. I'm just trying to piece it together.
Okay.
Hope is something I gave up quite some time ago. I've just grown used to it. If it happens, it happens. If it does not, it does not.
Raven looks to you and he says, if you say so, but honestly, without hope, living is just just like that. You're surviving and you're going day to day, but I don't really see that as living. I just see that as existing.
It is, more or less. It is a rather dull existence, but it is still an existence.
Hopefully you can go from existing to living sometime.
It would be nice to relive those days. Is there anything else you wish to discuss with me?
Raven gives a bit of a sigh, but he shakes his head and he says, no, that's all we have for you, unless there's something you wish to discuss with us.
The only thing I wish to tell you is that my team has come to the decision to go to Arian and oust the criminals.
Okay, good to know. Well, we'll plan to have you guys do that, and we'll start preparing another team to go on the investigation then. Thank you for telling us.
You are welcome. Have a pleasant evening.
You too, Thord in response.
And then Raniel leaves the room in the same manner he left Eugene's room.
Okay. Alright. That's your talk. Anybody else want any, anybody else, Eugene or Sergey, do you want to have any chats with the guild member, or should I bring one of you in to have your quote-unquote interview?
I'm kind of up for the latter.
I think I'd rather not end up, like, what's the word? Wasting energy, per se, trying to go through 1 RP and then having to focus on this, because I can see how important this is going to be.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, then, I guess I'll just roll a d2, and, Ice your 1, Crow your 2, whoever goes next goes next.
Oh boy.
Looks like it is you, Eugene.
Alright.
So, after Reniel sorta climbs back down, Raven comes behind and he knocks on your room door.
I'll go get it. I'll just get up from my organizing to go answer the door.
Okay. You open the door and you see Raven on the other side, and he says, alright, Eugene, you're up next.
Oh, me next? Okay.
He sort of motions you for you to follow along and brings you up, same as he did with Raniel.
Yeah. Alright, I'll follow him to his quarters.
Alright. So yeah, you enter the Guildmaster area, similar as last time. You see Thornton there behind the desk and Raven sort of standing to the side. And Thornton says to you, alright, Eugene, so, for transparency's sake, I suppose we should inform you that we're aware of why you joined. Mitsuru happened to be in contact with your parents and told us about that.
That's all she told you?
At the very least, for now, yes, that's all she told us. Perhaps she
Okay.
just didn't wish to pry on anything that you did, pry too much, just giving us the reason why you came.
Oh, yeah. Well, sorry to disappoint you if you...
I will tell you this. You're not alone in that situation.
What do you mean by that?
It's not uncommon for nobles like yourself to come here not really wanting to, but because they're either unable to get their inheritance, or in my situation, I was the second born, so the inheritance went to my brother, and I needed to do something in order to get by when I first joined.
Well, to be frank, I just didn't want to.
It's understandable. I'd recommend that you speak to Aurora sometime. She's in a similar situation as yours. She was disinherited by her parents and forced to join us more or less against her will if she didn't want to end up on the streets. She, too, sort of resents being here, and I do feel bad that she does.
Well, it's not very easy to approach others about issues like this, but I'll keep that in mind.
At the very least, I wouldn't recommend isolating yourself too much. You're not alone in your struggles. There are many others who have their own struggles or face similar ones to you. So, I don't want to tell you to open up to everyone around here. Obviously, there's a lot of Pokemon here and it could get chaotic. But opening up to a few and getting some confidants, it might help you.
I don't do it because I don't want to.
It's just not easy, I imagine.
No, it's just... Let's just say when you had someone who you had everything in common with, making new friends just seems like a downgrade when you lose them.
I suppose. In any case, Raven nods and he says, "Alright, so, yeah, I get you that you don't really like being here, but, at the very least, you could try and make the most of it and sort of try and play to your strengths while here."
Well, I've been trying, yes.
Mm-hmm. What are you interested in, by the way?
Games.
Any particular kind?
Well, I was recruited because of chess, so I like that, but I like this other game. You probably don't know about it.
I'm a little ignorant on that, so I probably don't, but you could still tell me about it.
Well, it's really complicated. You need a measuring stick, and you use these different groups of Pokemon, and they fight each other.
Thornton speak. Oh,
what was that?
No, continue.
It's like yeah. It's you probably wouldn't understand. It's very niche.
Thornton sort of gives a hum and he says, "I've heard of it, but can't say I play it. In terms of strategies like that, those are more Kaylin's territory than mine. She would probably
Yeah.
have heard about it.
Yeah, I know her.
Well, if you want someone to perhaps play with, you could certainly ask her.
Yeah, yeah. I'll ask maybe.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Raymond says, but if you play strategies a lot, that must mean you're pretty good with strategy, I'd imagine.
Well, um, this is real life, and that's strategy. You roll dice in that game. You don't do that in real life.
I mean, yeah. I'd say it's probably. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong there, but still, you'd be surprised how much tactics and strategy from games go towards real life strategy and tactics. It's not as big of a gap as you might think it is, so if you want to hear. If you want to take my suggestion, at least while you're working with those other three, try and sort of act as a bit of a leader to them, I'd say. Give them pointers while exploring, give them hints, tips, and, just sort of make the most of your strategic mind and help them along.
But you see, the problem with that is in a game, if I mess up, it's like, well, it's over. The game's over. But if I mess up in real life, then game over, literally.
You're not wrong there. You're certainly not wrong there, but at the same time, would you rather just not strategize at all and have all of you walk in blindly?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying putting their confidence in me. That's too much to handle.
Well, in that case, have them put your confidence in you, and then put your confidence in them as well. That's kind of the beauty of working with a team. They look to you for strategy, and you could take each of their unique abilities and look to them to accomplish it. It isn't easy, and the stakes certainly are high, yes. I mean, right now you're still training, so at the very least, we try not to send you on any missions that'll be too dangerous, but even still, learn to work with them, let them work with you, and sort of just at least try and make it work. You might find that you'll make a good tactician with their team.
So Eugene kind of like thinks to himself too of how like if you're playing a game, you're just moving mindless figures, and if you're actually like a tactician, they actually have to put their confidence in you, like unlike game pieces. And he thinks for just a moment, and he nods to Raven and says, "Yeah, I'll try that."
It isn't easy, but you'd be surprised what you can accomplish. In any case, well, that's all we had for you. Unless you have something you'd like to say.
No, if well, nobody told you, we're probably gonna go to Aaron and deal with those bandits.
Yeah, Rainiel told us already. We're already. Sorry, continue.
Is there any information we could get towards knowing where they're located, or where they're hiding out, or the geography of the land and things like that? Is there any resources available in the guild to find out things like that?
We know a bit about that. We know, for example, we're pretty sure that what they're doing is they're using one of the old forts that Caldwell had in their war against Arian all those years ago. Most of the forts were destroyed, but there are a few that remain. One of them's a mystery dungeon, so almost nobody goes to it, but They seem to be using another one that wasn't destroyed. At least that's what we think. For now, what I'd recommend doing the most is there's a nearby town that will point out to you. So I'd recommend traveling to that town and talking with them and seeing what they know about the terrain. You'll hear a lot better of what to expect from them than you'll learn from any books that we have here.
What's the town called?
The town is called...
DM wasn't expecting that question.
Yeah, the DM was expecting this question next session.
Well, yeah, that's part of the making up town names on the spot.
Yep. Give me a second.
Yep, no problem.
Fantasy name generator.
Yeah, I'm a frequent at that website.
The town is called Donsbury.
Donsbury. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So
And
yeah.
just to confirm, it's not in a mystery dungeon, it's in a fort.
Oh, yeah, no. There are some bandits that are insane enough to have themselves in to put themselves in a mystery dungeon. In fact, there's one that's on our interest right now that we're probably going to send Edgar to scout out and get some more information, but no, these bandits are definitely not in a mystery dungeon. Most aren't that insane to have to deal with the possibility of us attacking them along with whatever dungeon Pokemon are around.
Alright. Well, I guess that's all the information I really need.
Alright. If you ever want to talk about anything, our doors are always open, and yeah, if you need anything to help you accommodate, feel free to tell us.
Alright. I get up, sort of like relieve after an interview. Like, oh, that wasn't so bad, and I kind of leave the room. I was kind of jotting down notes. It was an old fort Caldwell's used war against Aaron.
Yeah, it's an old fort that Caldwell used in their war against Aaron.
Alright. Yeah, I'll just go back to my room if you want to pull Sergey in.
Okay. You ready, Sergey?
Yep.
Alright. Okay, so yeah, after you see Eugene, oh my gosh, I really need to get these names down. After you see Eugene come back into the room, you see Raven come over, look for you, and he goes, "Alright, Sergey, you're up next."
Alright.
So, similar story. He takes you over into the Guildmaster's office and all that stuff. Don't need to repeat myself a third time.
Yep.
And Raven starts. He says, "Alright, Sergey, well, I must admit, for the sake of transparency, that in terms of guild members, in terms of the new recruits, you're the one that we at first knew the least about, we'll say. You're not really related to any of the senior guild members or anything like that."
Understandable.
Yeah, though we do, after some poking around, and your shirt sort of gives it away a little as well, we do have a decent idea of where you're from and what circumstances you had before.
Right.
Sorry.
This mic is not the best at picking this up if I'm quieter.
Yeah, I noticed you do cut out occasionally.
I thought I set it to manual too to actually pick up better.
Mic issues aren't anything too unusual, unfortunately.
Right. He's looking a little uneasy.
If it means anything, we don't really At least I don't personally. I don't really blame you for any of those circumstances at all. You did what you had to do, and there could have been worse groups you ended up with.
So, how does that leave my standing here?
Well, for now, at the very least, we're not really going to judge you, and it's only the guild leaders that know about it, so nobody else has to know about what you had about your circumstances if you don't tell them.
He breathes a sigh of relief at this, but still, the fact that they know
Yeah.
puts him at unease. He's maybe a little pale.
I can't say I approve of it, but at the very least, you're with the Freelance Guild now, so I suppose I can't say much about it. Raven says, in any case, considering what happened, do you want us to gather information about the remnants of your old crew?
That would be very helpful, yes.
Okay. We don't really have too much knowledge aside from small bits and pieces, so for now we can't really tell you anything, but at the very least, if we learn something, we'll be sure to share it with you.
Thank you.
So what made you decide to join us? I mean, you did have a choice after all. I didn't tell you you had to, and I didn't even know about what your past was at the time, but even knowing that, I'd still say you don't have to join us. What made you decide to come here?
Honestly, it was a spur of the moment thing. I didn't have much else to go to at that point, and, well, opportunity presents itself. I imagine it could be similar. You get to do many things, go exploring. Perhaps a little bit of the danger of it.
Yeah, it's certainly one of those. Certainly something that. The danger is certainly a turn away for some, but others really just enjoy the danger of it, enjoy that thrill, so it's nice to have both kinds, if you ask me. Is there any particular goals you have for coming here?
I have as good of an answer as you do.
Really? Nothing other than just sort of seeing what's around?
Maybe make a better name. I don't know. You're always defined with the things you do.
Yeah. We know that you're, I'm sure someone you know, he was always someone who lived to be known. Be it famous, infamous, it didn't matter. Just so long as his name was known worldwide.
Quite that way. It's something I kind of admired.
Well, the Freelance Guild will give you plenty of opportunity to make your name well known too. After all, you solve problems, you help people, people talk, they spread the word, and soon enough you'll go into town and be recognized by people you've never even seen before.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, I don't want to guarantee it or anything. After all, you've still got your training to do, but at the same time, perhaps someday you'll be someone written about in the history books.
Much different than what I imagined, but it's a goal to strive for.
I'd keep it in mind if I were you. After all, having something that drives you is certainly better than just letting yourself be blown by the wind.
Hmm. One of those backstabbers. I wonder what they're up to now.
If we hear about it, we'll be sure to tell you. As of right now, you're beginner, so if we need someone to take care of that situation, we can't exactly ask you right now, but perhaps if the stars align and you guys become strong enough by the time, we might need to send someone to take care of that. We'll keep you in mind.
Thank you.
I'm sure you, of anyone out here, deserves to do that, and we're certain it'll come to the point where we need that to be taken care of at some point in time or another.
I might as well mention it was mutiny. Some of the crew members are a little more bloodthirsty.
We suspected that was the case. We weren't certain, but we did suspect something like that.
Unlike the other crew, they will take lives. You keep that in mind.
We will. We don't intend on having anybody go anywhere near them unless we're absolutely certain of the situation. In any case, that's all we really wanted to tell you, unless you have something you want to discuss.
Well, honestly, I think don't have much to say anymore.
Alright. Very well. If that's all you have, then, well, keep us in mind if you want to discuss anything or if you need anything to help you accommodate. Feel free to ask.
Right.
And are you gonna leave?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. And, well, with all your interviews, I think, since we're getting close to the 2-hour mark, that'll be a good point to end it off.
Cool.
Yep. Alright, well, thank you all for watching, and once again...
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, oops.
Oops. Yeah, I was gonna say Reniel's going to come back to the room after he sees Serguli because there's just one more thing he wanted to say. Okay, maybe two more things.
Okay. Alright, then I guess we'll continue for a bit longer then. Alright?
It won't be very long.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. I'm perfectly willing to go a bit over time as well. Alright,
Okay.
So anyways, yeah. You both return to your quarters, and I guess... Raniel, you're gonna knock again?
Yeah, he's gonna make the minor illusion knock.
Okay, Eugene opens the door. I guess that's what he's subscribed to now.
Oh no, I mean he was going to talk to the
Oh.
leaders.
Oh!
Okay.
I completely misunderstood that.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
Alright, so yeah, you knock on the door, and Raven opens it up. He seems surprised to see you back up here. And he's like,
Hello, Raven.
hey, did you need something?
Yes, there was one thing I neglected to mention in the meeting you had with me. I would prefer it if other Pokemon ask why I am the way I am, that you do not tell them.
Understandable. Well,
If they are going to know, I would like it to be on my own terms.
understandable. You're not the only person here that has secrets they'd like to keep from others. Well, we'll be sure to keep it keep the specific reason down. Is there anything in particular you'd like us to tell him? We'd prefer not to outright lie, so if you've got a half-truth, that'd be great.
He thinks for a minute.
Simply tell them to come to me if they wish to know more.
Very well. We'll be sure to do that.
Thank you. Oh, and one more thing.
You
Be
seem
prepared to...
You seem to be
What?
filled with one more things.
I forget many things. There is a lot on my mind.
Understandable. Anyways,
So there's one more thing. Be prepared to stock the kitchen with more salt.
we'll have to be sure to tell Aurora that. Okay.
Thank you.
And he turns around and walks away.
Yeah, just as Raven's just sitting there completely befuddled. All right. Okay, now now we can end it off.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Good episode, everyone.
Yeah.
And I suppose we can announce that on stream. You are all now level 3.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So
look forward to that, everyone, and we will end it off. Thank you for joining me, chat, and thank you all for joining me, my players.
Yep.
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 And we will see you guys